Welcome, good morning, everybody. My name is Lorenzo Juris. I'm the CEO of Creative Zone. We are the largest business setup company here in the UAE. We were established 11 years ago by 3 partners. And today we have helped over 44,000 business owners and entrepreneurs set up their companies successfully here in the UAE. So over these 10, 11 years, we have played an important role in shaping the startup ecosystem in the country, because we have helped all these entrepreneurs set up and run their businesses successfully. So on a weekly basis, we see hundreds or dozens of companies coming to us with their dreams, with their aspirations of starting their own businesses. And we get to see and we get to learn a lot from the journey that these companies go through. Us, as a company, Creative Zone, we were once a startup 10 years ago when we started, and now we are a group of companies with over 350 employees. So we've learned a lot in this course as well as a business, and we went through different stages. So in today's session, I'm going to talk about these different stages that startups and business owners go through. I was looking at the list of attendees for today, and I've seen a lot of you are already established businesses or recently started your companies. So I think it's going to be a very sort of interacting discussion. It's a little bit to also get your points of view and your ideas on what was your journey thus far in terms of being your own boss and running your own businesses. So I'll be sharing some slides to guide us through this conversation of today. Let me go to share, and I hope that you can see this. Yeah, I think my team is telling me that you can see this screen already. So today's session, as said, is key ingredients for launching a successful startup. And why could I, maybe perhaps to explain a little bit more, why would I be able to speak a little bit on this? There are 3 things that made me, I wouldn't say qualified, but at least someone that could talk a little bit on this topic. Point number 1 is I've been an entrepreneur most of my life. Since the last 20 years, I've run different type of companies, and I started different type of companies. I've sold a few of those. I exited a couple of these businesses. And most of all, in one of those startups that I had a media company where I was going around the world. We did about 40, 45 different countries, and we were producing sort of TV documentary films about different countries. And what we had to do in these countries was interview the most successful business owners and startups and entrepreneurs in each of these countries. It was a television show for an American broadcasting company, ABC Television, and it was about profiling these nations for investment and business opportunities. So in the span of 10 years, I went around 40, 45 countries interviewing very successful people. And I must say, during these 10 years of that journey, I met some incredible people, but I've learned a lot through this journey, because I was getting takeaways and learning from what were the things that these people did successfully, what were the things that they failed, or maybe some of the challenges that they had along the way. And I was exposed to, I don't know, the mining industry in Angola, to cattle farming in Mongolia, or from Asia to Europe to Africa to the Americas. I was really exposed to all continents and to all sorts of stories. Then I went on to establish a few media companies here in Dubai. I launched a magazine called Leaders Middle East. And again, this was a bit of a platform for me to go and meet and interview very successful leaders in this country. And then I went on to be part of this amazing company, Creative Zone, as the CEO. And again, on a weekly basis, I'm exposed to dozens of companies that come to us and they need their help in setting up their business, but we also help people throughout their journey. And when I see these startups, I see what are the challenges that they have, what is the things that they're doing positively, the things that they're not doing so well, what is it that actually takes them into being very successful. So all of this puts me in a place of saying, you know, I could say a thing or two when it comes to, you know, what are the ingredients of launching a successful startup. So I'll get going. First of all, before you're entering into business, there's a key distinction that you need to make for yourself and try to differentiate in your mind what kind of an entrepreneur are you. And there's three sort of groups that you can fall under. You could be sort of a self-employed, where you're creating or you're looking to create a job opportunity for you and be independent. That's one type of entrepreneur, we can call it, where you're going to be a solo entrepreneur. A lot of, for example, coaching businesses fall under this. I've seen a lot of people starting their own coaching businesses where they're actually creating an opportunity for them to start doing business and be self-employed. Nothing wrong with that. That's a business that works well, but it's a business that is difficult to scale. I was actually falling into that category for many years. When I first started my media company, I knew it was something that I couldn't scale up. If it wasn't myself, another couple of people that were with me in my team, that the business wouldn't be able to sustain. I had to be the one behind that business on a day-to-day. And I know that many of you fall under this category and have that problem of saying, I'm not able to scale my business because the way that I conceive the business to be, that I'm the main driver of the business. This is a very important challenge that many sort of first-time entrepreneurs fall into. The second type of entrepreneur is the usual business owner. Let's say that you're already part of an industry and you usually enter, where it says here, you enter an existing or mature market. Examples of this could be, I don't know, people that are starting a gym in your neighborhood, or a chain of gyms, or you're entering into manufacturing some specific type of product or plastic or something that is used for production on another sort of value chain type of product that is needed within that market or for export. So usually you enter an existing or mature market. You're a bit more of a business owner. And then the third type of entrepreneur, it could be categorized as the startup entrepreneur. Is the guy that is going out there to solve a new problem. You're looking to disrupt an industry. And many times these businesses are built in a way where you're planning to exit that business in 5, 6, 10, 15 years, whatever that time frame that you're setting yourself to exit that business from. So these are the three type of, let's say, entrepreneurs that we can categorize. Start sending us your questions and your comments on the Q&A box, on the chat section. I'm willing to start reading a little bit on your thoughts of this, but this starts giving you an idea, where do you fall as an entrepreneur? Are you creating a business where you're creating a job opportunity for you? Are you a business owner where you're entering a mature market and you're looking to build on existing things that are already there? Or are you looking to disrupt an industry and plan to exit going forward? So I thought starting with this slide will sort of help us identify where we fall as entrepreneurs. From this, we can go into this topic of the 6 stages of startup development. And when I was preparing for this presentation, I went through many of these sort of studies and books. I've been reading quite a bit on the topic. Many of them call them 4 stages, 5 stages. I divided them in what I feel are the 6 stages of startup development. So to me, the 6 stages in startup developments are these 3. You have the first part, which is the ideation problem, then you stage, then you go into a validation stage where you're validating your idea, and it's a time where you're building your MVP, your minimum viable product. Then you go into the launch. What are the challenges that you go in the launch phase? And the idea of this is that I wanted to divide it into these 6 stages so I can give a few tips and ideas on advice on what are the things that you should be looking out for in each of these stages. Instead of giving you 30 tips for startups, I thought it's better to give you tips depending on the stage of your business. Maybe many of you are already past stage 1 and 2. You are in the launch, or maybe you're already established. So what are the things that you need to be thinking for that stage that you're in, maybe stage number 4 or 5. Now, the interesting part of this is that as entrepreneurs, many of you maybe are on stage number 4 or number 5, but as entrepreneurs, many of you are already thinking of another business idea as entrepreneurs that many of us are. So you are already thinking on stage 1 again. So maybe one of your businesses is on stage number 5, 4, or maybe 6, but you're going back to stage number 1 where you're starting to build a new idea. So I'm going to be breaking that up in today's chat. I'm going through the Q&A section. I'm reading Christoph is already putting out a question. Feel free to start putting your questions. Christoph is saying, what is the difference between self-employed and startup entrepreneur? So that's a good question. So this is what we were talking just now, Christoph. Let me go back to the slide. So as I was saying, you know, the self-employed usually is looking to create a business where is giving himself a job opportunity, we'll say, like I was saying, like a coaching business. For example, when the guys of Careem or Uber went out to set up a new company for their business, for Uber or Careem, let's say, they were not self-employed. They were not creating something that says, oh, I'm going to create an app where people are going to be, you know, connecting with me to give them a ride. They knew that they were building something that needed scaling, that they needed, you know, other people to be involved, which is these drivers and so on. So that falls more under the category of startup entrepreneur. A self-employed is someone that is creating something that is going to keep him busy. For example, my wife is a photographer. So she's doing a business as a self-employed. She's very happy the way she's doing it, but you know, she's not thinking, how can I create a business of a network of photographers that are going to be working under me? Right now, she's under that self-employed category. So going back into the stages, these are the 6 stages that we're going to be talking about. So the first stage of ideation, the part where you're working with your idea. At the beginning, you're working with an idea, and the main thing that you're looking to answer is, how can I solve a problem? How can I create value for people? Why would people come and buy what I have to give? And the main reason for that is that you're solving a problem, that you're creating value for that. Now, people say the bigger the problem that you're solving, the bigger the reward. So I would sort of recommend people, you know, fix yourself on that. Think, what are the problems that I'm able to solve? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you're able to provide value on? And usually, right from that, you need to start thinking related to that idea and that value that you want to create. It has to very much connect with who you are as a persona, as an individual. That's why I'm writing here, find your why. What is your ultimate goal? Find something that you're passionate about. Your persona has to align with the value that you're giving. The who you are internally has to be linked with that problem that you're solving. Ideas of this, for example, even I have friends that are coming and says, oh, but I would like to get into the e-commerce business and I would like to start an e-commerce platform. But then you start engaging with them and learning more and say, well, do you know much about e-commerce? Are you part of or are you good with, I wouldn't say coding, you don't need to be a coder, but are you familiar with the way things are run? Like, your persona has to be linked into what you're looking to do, because you're going to be competing with people that understand that industry and know this. You know, when Steve Jobs started his business out of a car garage, he would know how to build a computer. It's very difficult to start a computer business if you don't know the sort of the needed tools for you to be able to grow into a business like that. So again, as I have in that bullet number 4, your persona has to be aligned with that value that you're giving. Now, the environment that surrounds you has to be the best for growing that particular business. If you come and say, well, I would like to build a textile company here in Dubai, well, would Dubai give you the right environment for you to build a manufacturing textile business? Maybe yes, maybe no. But are you going to be competing with other more competitive destinations that are a little bit more cost efficient? You know, the UAE is well known for example, having high electricity and energy costs. So anything that is energy Hungary, well, is not as competitive as other destinations. For example, even I think I was reading what is happening with the mining of Bitcoin. There's not a lot of mining of Bitcoin, for example, in the UAE. Why? Because yeah, energy is expensive, and mining of Bitcoin is happening a lot in other destinations where the energy is cheaper, let's say. So that bullet number 5, fertile ground. Look at your surroundings, what you want to do, what you want to set up. Does the environment around you support you to grow that business? So that's a very important question that you need to be answering yourself in this stage. And as you see here on the right side, it says this is your creative stage. This is the point where you're thinking, you're working around your idea, and your creativity starts flowing. Now, the bullet number 6, does your idea fit the market? Is there a market for what you are looking to build? That's an important thing. Are you building something that is for export? Are you going to be attacking, let's say, a global market, or you're going to be traditionally or needing to secure business within? You know, even the way that, going back to e-commerce, a lot of the successful e-commerce, you're seeing platforms like Noon, like other businesses, many of them depend on the local market. So if you're building something that you've studied, but there is not enough demand within your local market, well, you need to see where is that demand going to come from. Are you going to be able to open this up to other parts of the world? And the last bullet there is research and competition analysis. So within that idea that you have, quickly you're going to be doing your research. You're going to start seeing what other people are doing similarly. What could be your competition when entering this this phase of your business idea? I'm getting a few other questions. Lorenzo is also asking, wouldn't it be easier to get a top-level retired CEO, give him 7.5% of the business and use his knowledge if you don't have any? Yeah, very good point, Lorenzo. This is a very good way that nowadays a lot of businesses are, and especially startups, are growing. A lot of startups and entrepreneurs have good ideas, have good models, but they require, and that's a model that is being implemented a lot now, finding ways to partner with people and giving to these people that you are getting involved with equity into the business. So absolutely, finding someone that wants to partner with you, that could be your CEO, that is going to help you run the business, and give him equity into the business, 100%. Going to the next phase of your startup development will be that the validation of that business idea you have. So here it says from idea to MVP, to building your minimum viable product. So you've had your idea, you've kind of tested things. Now you need to build that minimum viable product, and you need to start testing the market. You need to start going out there and see how people react. I can't emphasize how important is this part of the stage of your startup. I've seen many people go out in the market and not test your idea enough with the market. And I would say, before you go full on with your startup, before you start spending on office space and people and marketing, go out and test the market as much as you can. So do what the market needs and not what you think it needs. This is a very important thing too. I've seen a lot of startups and entrepreneurs, you know, they're so passionate about their idea, but they get a little bit blindsided and they don't really look at what it is that people need. I came across a gentleman that wanted to start a Dubai watch based business, and he showed me all his studies and the different options that he could penetrate. And you know, when you go into a watch industry, there's many angles that you can go into. You could be a Richard Mille type of watch where it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, or you could be a Rolex type of watch that is between $5,000 to $10,000, or you could be an Omega that is below 5,000, etc., etc. So there is many layers that you can go in. And he was very passionate about luxury watches, but the question was, would people in Dubai be buying from you a luxury watch that nobody knows? would people be spending $5,000-$10,000 of a watch that nobody knows? Maybe, you know, his challenge would be, how can it turn this into a very successful? Of course, Richard Mille and any of these watch companies started from somewhere. But what I'm saying is, you need to really understand what is that the market needs. So perhaps the best business idea would be to create a watch that is worth $200-$300 or even $150 with a cool Dubai brand. So, you know, good business owners and startups and entrepreneurs really focus on where is the business opportunity, not so much, you know, the dream and the aspiration that you. Of course, you have to be true to your dream and your aspiration, but you really need to understand also where is the market opportunity so that you can benefit from that. So once you've done all these studies, the bullet number 4 says test the market. Go out there, show your products to hundreds of people, listen to what people tell you, and really hear them out. And don't be scared of showing this and feeling that people will steal your idea. This normally doesn't happen that easy. There's very few people that will be willing to sacrifice what you are sacrificing, which is the hundreds of hours that you need to put in, thousands of hours, to develop a concept, a brand, an idea, a watch brand, what goes behind it, a platform. So usually I tend to think people don't steal other people's ideas because you're the true owner of what you're looking to do. And it really takes a lot of time and effort for you to pursue that. It doesn't come that often that somebody goes, oh, thank you for that idea, I'm gonna go and set this up, and they do that themselves. This is your planning stage. At this stage, you build your MVP and you start building, or you start thinking, what's gonna be your team structure? Well, you know, how many people do you need? What's gonna be your cost structure? What kind of office do I need? What kind of salespeople do I need? What kind of commissions do I need to pay? Where are my revenues going to come from? This is your planning stage. That's why here on the right side is also is your inventor stage. Inventor in the sense of building that MVP that you need to build. At that time, you start doing proper financial projections and always build on pessimistic scenarios, saying, if I sell the minimum, which, you know, how long do I need to survive with minimum or pessimistic type of sales scenarios? I've seen many companies get started and they don't project well enough what, you know, their financial projections, and they're estimating that after 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, they're going to be breaking even. They're going to be, you know, their revenues were going to start being, you know, positive. It takes time for startups to, you know, to get going, especially in these times. So that's your validation stage number 2. Moving to next stage, which is the launch. So let's say now you validated your product, you've talked about your product to hundreds of people. Now you're ready to go out there. Now, this is your connector stage. This is the moment where you need to go out there and start building on your client base. So at this stage, marketing is your most important resource. And again, I've seen hundreds of people fail at this stage. Many people have a good idea, they build the MVP, and they get stuck here. They don't know how to market themselves and how to market their products and really you know, get the word out there and become famous about what it is that they're doing. And whatever you had in mind that you needed to spend on marketing, double that up, because starting a new business nowadays, at this stage, it requires for you to invest heavily in marketing. And nowadays, through, you know, digital advertising and the reach that you could have through social media means, social media is the cheapest way of reaching to people and really getting to be known about what it is that you're doing. So a few good tips there, you know, visit your key potential clients, go and focus on who would be those key people that are going to be buying your product. Tell the world about your product, build relationships, build partnerships, barter a lot. At this stage, you need to really focus on partnerships, even if you have to barter, because that's going to allow you to get to be known. You need to collaborate with a lot of people nowadays, people that are going to help you give exposure about your business. So at the beginning, at this stage, it's a lot about investing in your brand, investing in your product, so that you start getting traction out of your business. On that bullet, number 5, I also have get a partner and get a mentor. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to have someone that is next to you as a partner, because it really helps you and motivates you on those days that you feel a little bit down. You know, I've seen this analogy, you know, sort of the world of business is a big ocean with big waves, and a little dinghy with one guy rowing doesn't go as far as a bigger boat with 5-6 people rowing at the same time. You know, a bigger boat with 5-6 people is a lot stronger and is able to fight those big waves of business. When you're on your own, it gets tougher. So I recommend you build a team around you, get a partner, and also get a mentor. You know, get to talk to people that have gone through similar stages in their businesses, and that they have gone through similar challenges, because you're going to be able to learn a lot from the mistakes that they've done through this journey as entrepreneurs. I'm trying to see if we have other questions. Do we have any questions on the chat section, Sijan? I'm taking a bit of a breather as well, because I'm speaking a little bit too much, and we have quite a few good slides still going. I'm going to go back to the chat section here to see if we have any other questions on the chat. On the Q&A, there's nothing there. I can't see the chat part. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Yeah, so far so good. What is the difference? We cover that. Okay. Yeah, there's no new. How do you know who to network with? But that's a good idea. Always go and network with people around your industry, around you know, the sort of audience that you're looking to penetrate. And of course, nowadays, using influencers is a good way of, you know, getting the word out there. It's good to see we have about 70 attendees. It's good to be speaking to a good group of people. Happy to keep on sending me your questions and let us know what other ideas you could have. And maybe I'm willing to hear out some of your thoughts. Maybe we can bring potentially to our team there, we can potentially bring a couple of speakers later on, somebody that wants to share their stories. They're telling me we have about 50 people connected on Facebook as well. All right, so I will continue with the slides and the rest of the stages. So we went through, I think this was stage number 3, the launch. Now we are in the established phase. This is your builder stage. Here you become, your business has been launched, you reached out to people, you're getting traction from people, and your business is up and running. So this stage is all about the customer. You really need to stay very close to your customer, because this is time where you could either be doing things very well or very wrong, in the sense that very quickly, if the way that you're dealing with your customers is not the right way, it's going to start showing, and it's going to start popping up on social media. People are going to be talking about your business, and you want to make sure that you're getting this right at this stage. So this stage is all about the customer. Focus on customer acquisition. At this time, you have to start hitting those numbers and starting to get customers through the door. And focus or hear what are your customer needs. And you're going to be adapting a lot your business. Maybe at the beginning when you launched, you thought that customers were going to be needing X amount of or a specific type of solution, but very quickly you're going to start adapting, and you're going to start understanding where the value really lies. What is it that customers really need? And the beauty of this is that you're going to start adapting your business, and you're going to start coming up with other type of business solutions that your clients need. At this time, it's also important that you start pushing harder your marketing and you start multiplying on that marketing budget. And another tip that I could give at this stage is always abide by local laws and regulations, pay your taxes, and be compliant with all the regulations. Now the UAE has introduced a lot of new regulations for business owners and startups in relations to ESR, UBO, anti-money laundering, that you have to constantly be compliant and be doing the proper filing and reporting. I've seen many startups, you know, giving a bit of a blind eye to things and not, you know, sticking to the regulations. And I've seen people get I wouldn't say punished, but being charged important fees for not sending the right reporting when it comes to ESR, UBO. So as I said, this is your established, this is your builder phase, you're up and running. It's all about your customer at this stage. Listen to your customer, understand what it is that you need to adapt in your business, because this is what's going to take you to grow in the next phase. The next phase is that one, the growth. Now you understand your customer, your customers are coming through the door. Now it's time to expand. Now it's time to grow a strong team around your business. You need to now focus, and you need to hire the best people that you can afford. It's the time to really invest in people. Once you start building your teams, is that you need to start setting up the right targets and the right KPIs. This is what's going to really allow you to grow as a business. If you start measuring your people, what are the targets that you're setting your business, what are the main KPIs that you want your people to start hitting, is what's going to allow you to start growing your business. And then a key thing at this stage, once you're building your teams, you're hiring your people, is you need to work on the culture of your organization. As Peter Drucker once put it, he says, culture, it's strategy for breakfast, meaning you can have an amazing product, you can have an amazing strategy, but if you don't have a strong culture within the organization, if your people don't believe what it is that they're pursuing, what's the goal and the objective of your business, your company will fail. Your people need to buy into the business culture that you are pursuing. And as I said, no matter what is your strategy, if the culture of your organization is not there, you will fail. At this stage, you're growing and you're established. At this stage, you start cross-selling and upselling products. Everything that is within your industry, you're starting to integrate horizontally and vertically within your business. Say, you're capturing clients. What else can I integrate? What other things does this type of client that I'm capturing need within that same industry? Let's say that you're in the business of gyms, as I said before. Well, people that are coming into the gym, what else do they need? Do they need nutrition products? Do they need gym-related clothing that they may want? So adding these other layers and integrating vertically in that state, in this example, it's key for your business, because it's going to start allowing you to generate certain revenue that you were not thinking. And then horizontally, you're going to start thinking, what other businesses or other gyms I could look into acquiring, perhaps, or what other formats can I look into getting into? And this is a bit of a personal tip. At all times, give value to people, be nice to people, always be ready to go an extra mile, because it always comes back. When people can see that you're willing to make an effort and that you're willing to, go a little bit beyond the norm, people will see the value in that and always come back to you. So this is your investor stage. Here you're investing, you're putting money into your business, you're hiring the best people that you can, you're putting more money on marketing. That was a little bit more the previous stage, and you're building on the culture of your organization, and you're looking to integrate horizontally and vertically. So as I said, there's different stages of your business and your startup. it's important you see, where do you fall? Do you fall in under this category? Are you in a time where you're looking to grow, that you're building your teams, that you are building on your culture, that you're setting up those targets and those KPIs? So Siada is sending a question, says, hi, what is the right stage to put the company legalized registration? I guess that she means, what is the right stage to maybe set up your own business legally and get going? I think it's the stage, it could be stage number 2. Let me go back to stage number 2, that you're building your MVP, that you're here before the launch, you're doing your validation, you're building your MVP is ready, you tested it with a market, and at that stage you're ready to go. Even as the CEO of Creative Zone, I say, don't set up your company at this stage, at your idea stage. You haven't validated your product, you haven't spoken to the right people yet, you haven't tested the product. Once you've tested the product, you've done a bit of your financial projections, now is the time to say, all right, people are reacting positively to this, I'm about to launch, which is stage number 3. Now I need to go and set up my business, get legally ready in the company, in the country, because also a few of these things take time. Sadly, for example, to open a bank account takes a bit of time in the country. So, you need a few weeks to get this moving. So the moment that you feel that you're ready to launch, go and set up your business, get legally ready, set up your bank account, start looking at what are those compliance issues that you need to be covering, and you start projecting ahead. So we went through the growth stage. Now we're in the last stage, which is the maturity and exit stage. By now at this stage, maybe it's 5, 6, 7, 10 years into the business. By now, someone else should be running your business. By now, you should have a CEO in place, and that CEO should be dealing with the day-to-day. And you as a board member, and hopefully with other partners that you've involved, investors. And I think I was thinking while I was preparing for this, I think we could eventually do a whole session on the different type of investment options that are there for you for fundraising into your startups. You have these angel investors and this seed funding, and then your Series A, your Series B. So at this time at maturity and exit, you went through, let's say, bringing some investors into the business. And at this stage, someone else should be running your business. At this stage, for you, is all about taking care of the people that are working for you. It's really managing your teams and managing your people, because these people are going to be the ones that are going to be taking care of your business. And because you're managing to step out of the business a little bit, you are starting to think outside, and you're going to start to think, what is it that is going to kill my business in the years to come? And you should be getting into that. You need to start thinking, what is it that is going to be replacing my industry? And it's good that you start thinking in that direction, because you could potentially start creating a business or business ideas that are in line with what's going to change or what's going to supplement your business in the years to come. And at this stage, you're looking to perhaps exit your business. Your business is mature, you have a big group of clients, you have cash flows, you have financials to show. There's probably a lot of people interested in your business, competitors or other people or other investors that would like to go into a mature running company. People are willing to pay for this. People are willing to buy into this, and you perhaps stay as running the business as a CEO, perhaps, or if you're already quite outside of the business and you have another CEO running this, well, the investor will come in and take over of the running of the business. And as a last little tip is, have fun and take care of yourself. At this time, you're well into your 40s, maybe 50s, and you're going to start realizing that health is your most important asset, and that you want to stay here for a longer ride. And here you start feeling, the aches of working so hard for 10, 15 years, and you start realizing that it's time to really start taking care of yourself and taking care of your health. So I would even put this at the beginning of it all throughout the stages. Take care of yourself, have a very sort of healthy lifestyle, because it will help you even without this entire journey of the 6 stages. You know, being an entrepreneur and being a startup owner, of a business owner, requires a lot of energy, requires you to be very healthy. If you wake up in the morning every day, you know, with the right mindset, you know, ready for a fight, you really need to have the right energy to, you know, to put up a fight and to come up with new business ideas. What's going to be killing your business in the years to come? What is killing your business right now, and what needs attention of your business? Is quite a demanding, and you need to be very healthy all throughout. I think I'm looking if we're getting other questions, and I like to finish that section. I think we have another slide to talk about today, but this kind of also summarizes when, you know, when we're discussing this issue of what's going to be killing your business is, you know, you have the smaller fish being eaten by a bigger fish, and this bigger fish being eaten by a bigger fish. Now the interesting part is that this fish is not going to be eaten by another fish. Is going to be eaten by a plastic bag in this case. Sometimes you don't know what's going to come and eat you. You don't know what's going to come and take you out of business. Many times what's going to take you out of business is something totally outside of your whole environment, like in this case of this world of this fish. So what's taking fish out of business in this case is something totally outside. So be mindful what can take you out of business, and most probably will take you out of business is not people within your own environment. It's somebody that is going to replace you with something that comes from the outside. And then we have a final slide that talks about traits of successful entrepreneurs. I'm going to take a little break here. I'm going to go back to the slides and the platforms to see if other people are making other comments. Let me see. Sad is saying, hi, you said that you first test how successful your business is going to be before you get legal approval, but this is not possible. Clients ask first to show your license. Yeah, it's a good point, but you can go out to clients and you say, look, you're not going out there to sell something. You say, I would like to meet with you because I'm in the process of launching my business. I would like to see, you know, whether this is something that you feel you will be engaging with, if this is something that would be of value to you. I recommend test as much as you can before you go out there, because even the activity that you put in your license will determine from the beginning. Many people end up putting certain list of activities, and then you say, oh, I wish I knew I could have added this other activity that would allow me to do something else. And only this you will learn if you start going out in the market and telling people about it. Lorenzo has another question. I just want to say, for getting a mentor, a team, everyone should consider LinkedIn. I got my whole team on LinkedIn. Yes, exactly, Lorenzo. I mean, LinkedIn nowadays is an incredible tool for reaching out to people. I remember, you know, when I started a few of my companies, I would even write to the competition. I remember even in this case of this watch industry, I was mentoring this guy that started this watch business. And we started writing to all these other watch companies, guys that started watch businesses in Italy, in the US, and we were learning about what were the mistakes, what were the things. Even we were offering them, would you like to be part of entering this business with this particular startup and entrepreneur? Legalizing a business should be done parallelly with testing, because this is on the other side, motivates you to not sleep over an idea. Yeah, very good. I mean, I had one point that says action always wins everything else. You know, this goes to the next slide that I'm going to be showing about the mindset of people. Action is the most important ingredient on any successful entrepreneur. It's what beats anybody. Sometimes you need to throw yourself into the water, and then you start fixing things as you go along. So, Christophe, I totally agree with that comment that you're putting there. Emmeline saying, for self-employed entrepreneurs, as we don't have teams, what would be your advice for the growth stage? Would it be to focus on creating new services for our customers, Thanks. So for self-employed entrepreneurs, as we don't have teams, what would be your advice for the growth stage? Would it be to focus on creating new services? Very good point, Emeline. Very, very good thinking process of that. And I remember even at my stage when I had a media company that I knew I couldn't scale up. Absolutely, you're right. I was constantly trying to create new business solutions within what I was doing. I had a magazine and I was trying to do events, and I was constantly trying to come up with new themed events to go and pitch them to relevant people. I tried to do an event about youth and about one about women, one event about innovation. So I was constantly trying to create new products that could, I could capture new business. So that's absolutely right. I wasn't focusing on building teams. I was focusing on building different products. Herman saying, I find problem make site. We know mobile phones display. Yeah, yeah. I don't fully understand the question. Sar is writing in Italian. I can kind of understand a little bit come si può arrivare a client quando sono nuovo nel market. Good question. Sad is asking, how can you reach out to a client when you're new to the market, or perhaps maybe what he's trying to say, when you're creating something that is totally disrupting that industry? That's an excellent question, Sad. How could you reach out to a client if what you're creating is totally new? It's true, maybe when Karim or Uber were coming up with this, or Airbnb, the client, how did you, it's about testing your product. It's about, reaching out to your friends, to your family, to your network and testing your product with the people that could potentially be consumers of that product. Even the famous example that people used to put, when Sony invented the Walkman, there wasn't such a need. There wasn't something that somebody would need to plug and put it here on your waist and listen to music. So I guess it was a matter of testing that out, physically and putting that out to people and say, look, I'm inventing this, I'm coming up with this. How do you feel about this? And the other tricky thing could be, well, many people could maybe not react positively to it. And I have heard many people say, no, but who is gonna want to have this machine holding? And eventually your idea, although people were saying that it's not a great idea, eventually could become an incredible idea. How to reach clients with a brand new product? You started with some freemiums and freebies for your clients after creating your client persona as well. Yeah, good idea. Creating freebies and giving free stuff to people with your product is a great way of testing your product. All right, so I'm taking a bit of a breather. Great to see 80 people connected. Also, feel free for many of you that want to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn and ask me a few questions in the future, or reach out to me on my email at Creative Zone's email. I think we're going to be sharing my details to all the attendees. More questions. How long businesses run before license stage? Well, ideally, you shouldn't be running your business before your license is ready. I think the moment that you feel that your business is ready to go and you want to start launching, you should start getting your license, because also there's a lot of punitive measures if you're found running a business, getting paid for delivering a service or a product without having the right licenses in the UAE. Right, I'm switching on to the Q&A section as well, trying to read a few questions. How long the company should be run before the license stage? I think that was addressed. How can you help us? Hemant, Verna, happy to to engage with you, Hemant, and hear a little bit more on what you're looking to do, you can reach out to us, to me on LinkedIn. And there's a couple of good announcements that I'd like to make maybe at this stage. Recently, we launched an initiative called Startup X. That is an accelerator program where we're looking to accelerate a few businesses. Maybe if my team can find the link of Startup X and put it out there. We launched our own venture capital fund. It's called ZZ Venture Capital, and where we invest in promising startups that require, an inflow of capital to get going. So there's going to be quite a bit of news on that on the weeks to come. But if my team can put out the link of Startup X, and if you would like Creative Zone to help you through that, and of course, if you need some help in setting up your business and you need a license and you're ready to go, please get in touch with us and we will help you set up your business and get your trade license. Lo is asking, where do you suggest to go in the UAE to pitch angel investors or any entity that supports preset rounds for startups? Well, yeah, Lo, I just shared that. We are launching our own venture capital fund, so you can come and talk to us on this. And in our website, I think we also will be putting up a link that has some of the most important angel investors in the UAE that are nowadays taking part of funding and investing in some of the most promising startups in the UAE. Lo, gracias Lorenzo, estar en contacto. You're most welcome. Sure link on LinkedIn. Yeah. All right. So I think I covered most of the questions that are coming up. And the next part is a little bit more, I would say, philosophical. We only have a few more minutes left. I think we're doing this until 11 a.m. This hour went flying. And I think you can see my slides. Now, again, through these 10 years that I had when I was traveling the world and I was interviewing all these successful business owners, successful entrepreneurs, people that have launched their startups, I found these sort of main points or main traits of who they were as entrepreneurs. How many we have there? Is it 41, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 traits to successful entrepreneurs. The first point is a winning mentality. And we were just talking about this. You know, I've seen that a lot of the successful entrepreneurs have this winning mentality. They don't know no for an answer. And this issue that we're saying, stay healthy, you know, for you to have a winning mentality, you have to stay healthy. And finally, I was going through this video yesterday of this famous Canadian professor of psychology, Dr. Jordan Peterson. He was talking about, you know, the hierarchy of power, of that sort of is something that applies to many things around the world, in business, to even the world, the animal world is run, the human world, how it's run. Many things align to the hierarchy of power in the animal world, the human world, in business, meaning that at the top you have very few people that concentrate a lot of the power, and at the bottom we have more people that have less of the power, we can say. But these people that are at the top have this winning mentality, and they did a study even with lobsters, and they understood that the lobsters that were the sort of the team leaders or the leaders at the top had this winning mentality, and it was being able to be measured by serotonin levels in their minds. And they were showing that the most powerful lobster were the ones that had the stronger serotonin levels. And this applies even to human beings. That's why it says winning mentality. You know, people that are very positive, that are very determined, that have this winning mentality, are people that have these higher serotonin levels. If you're down all the time, if you're constantly moaning about the market and this is not going well, this is not the right mentality that is going to take you to being a successful entrepreneur. A successful entrepreneur is constantly finding the positive in everything. I've seen people adapt to the, you know, Corona situation. It's been very hard, but I've seen a lot of people benefit from it and making lots of new businesses and lots of new money. So determination, discipline, they love what they do. You need to love what you do. If you're getting into something, you need to love what they do. Is the book of this gentleman, it doesn't come to my mind, but it talks about the 10,000 hours. For you to be the best at what you do, you need to dedicate 10,000 hours for you to become the best at it. Is the book Outliers. So for you to dedicate 10,000 hours, you need to love what you do. I see it in people. If you're passionate about photography, well, you're going to be up until 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning, seeing how you can perfect this, reading at other people's blogs and reading videos. If you're getting into business and you don't love what you do, you're not going to get that extra edge from your competition. Network. Very successful people are very good at networking. They're very good at connecting with people and spreading out. And the important part of that is because networking allows you to adapt your product, adapt your project. Funnily enough, they're average communicators. When I started this business of media and I went out and I started interviewing all these people, I remember coming out from many of these interviews and feeling, wow, but this guy has a $1 million business, and you could feel that they were not so great at communicating. You have people like Elon Musk, he's an average communicator. He's very introverted. He has a funny way of putting his ideas. Maybe the way he communicates maybe is a bit millennial type of way, a bit geeky, a bit strange. You have a lot of incredible communicators, but maybe they're not the best at building new businesses. So I found that very peculiar to see how a lot of very successful people were average communicators. They're great at delegating and finding the best possible talent. You're never going to build a great business. You're not going to scale up if you're not good at delegating. Again, if you're building a job, if you're building a business that is only for you, it's going to be good, but you're not going to be able to scale up. You're not going to be able to grow. And in order for you to grow, you need to delegate. They're constantly and relentlessly in the pursuit of continuous improvement. They're constantly learning. They're constantly seeing how they can improve what they do, how they can get into new businesses. They're incredibly good with money and numbers, and they're obsessed with details. They're constantly looking, where can I save some money from? It's well known that a lot of very rich people, they're very careful with money. I could say sometimes they're even borderline stingy with money. That was a little bit confusing to me, saying, well, this guy has millions and he's worried about how much he's spending on lunch, on something. They're always constantly trying to get the best deal possible. So they're very good with money. They're very constantly looking how can they benefit a little bit more from getting a good deal. They're tough as nails. They're very strong people. They're very good at making hard decisions, especially when it comes to people. If you have a team of people in place, somebody is not working, they're very quick at making the needed changes and making sure that they remove who is not working, and they're tough. Their emotions, they don't let their emotions intervene in the way that they run a business, and they take action. As I said, action is a very important element for them to take the business to the next level. So I think this is our slides for today. That's a little thank you slide from us at Creative Zone. I'm going to go back to the presentation and see if we have more questions. Let me see on the Q&A section first. Are you looking at healthcare to give finance to, Lorenzo? Yeah, why not? Healthcare is a growing business, and it's been a very growing business during this time. We have product ready, need license and funds. How can we apply? Herman, I'm not sure if my team has shared the link on the accelerator program. Yeah, I can see it there. Maybe also put up my LinkedIn link as well for people that want to reach out to me and ask more information, and put the Also the email setup@creativezone.ae. I think my team is telling me that it's already there. For those that want to have information about setting up a company. Trying to go through some of the questions. There's quite a lot of questions. I'm not being able to read all of them. How would you compare UAE and say the Valley in terms of VC? How can you describe the seed stage ecosystem there? What kind of companies are coming? Jose. Yeah, of course, Silicon Valley in the US compared to what's happening in the UAE. Of course, we're still miles away, but I think the UAE is learning very fast. And the good thing about Dubai and the UAE is that, Dubai is really becoming a space for startups, for entrepreneurs. What you see, it's happening in the last few months is, half of the world has been coming to Dubai and running away from Corona and COVID-19 hit markets in Europe. It's very sad what's happening in India right now, very sad what's happening in Israel and Palestine. But the sad thing is that Dubai is benefiting from these things in a way that a lot of people that actually, have businesses and are wealthy want to move out from these destinations, and they want to come and find stability, peace, and a lot of people are coming to Dubai. So the Dubai scene and startup scene has been growing dramatically. There's more and more VC funds coming and moving into Dubai, willing to invest in startups. So I think it's growing dramatically. DWC, thanks for arranging such a nice informative session. Can a person get membership in WC without a license? I think the the Dubai Business Women Council can answer some of those questions. We partner and we work hand in hand with the Dubai Business Women Council. We've done several initiatives together, and I know that I think they can take members that do not have an active business license, at least for the beginning, to get started and then launching into business. So it's 11:08. I passed 8 minutes into what was supposed to be a 1-hour session. I would like to thank everybody there that is connected. We have about 70 people connected, and everybody on Facebook Live. I hope this was informative. Reach out to us at Creative Zone with all the email address given and in the landing page if you want some help in setting up your business or accelerating your business. We're happy to help you. Thank you to the Dubai Business Women Council for this partnership, and we look forward to a lot more. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.